All right, well, apologies to everyone that the audio quality for this one might be a little bit compromised, but let us get right to it. This is breaking news. I don't even know where to begin, but apparently Tommy Scoville, old Brett, is threatening to sue Marilyn, and I guess I have to say her full name, Marilyn Honig. Yes, he's actually saying this. He's actually making this threat. Because I was trying to catch up to one of the Marilyn videos, and I was like, what are her and her usual Deutschen, alarmist, fake, phony, hypocritical fans you raving about? And I'm like, well, let me just get to the main. Okay, and I usually try to build up to the commentary. I'll give you the big pill. And to be clear, I'm more into the philosophy of law, not law proper, but I do study the real law, like case study and things like that, how case law, right? Stare dice. You go through the list. I do that stuff. Supreme Court judgment, SCOTUS. Okay. So basically just is they're saying, well, he can't even sue. You gotta be a public figure. Like, these are people who just don't know anything, and they're advising Marilyn on how to do a legal strategy. So it's just clown people advising clown people. So Marilyn's put out a series of videos. They're not exactly the best. Some of what she says is true. And again, I may lose a subscriber here, but and I'm wondering, like, what is he going to sue over? Okay, the problem is the way she's wording it. So let's get right to it. Is Scoville guilty of SO? Yes. I think it's fair to say we have strong evidence that at the age of 17, he victimized a young girl aged 15 at the time. And there's pretty strong evidence he later harassed and was stalking and hurting the victim. The problem is the way that Marilyn words it. She would make it seem as if he is currently guilty of that. And whether I like it or not, I don't want to say that, but is he guilty of any actual criminal activity today? And I'm going to want to be very clear. He's a horrible human being. He's evil. He's disgusting and disturbing, yada, yada, yada. But the fact of the matter is, we already did this, like Casper after the bars, want to give him a good shout out. They've done this already. They called Homeland Security. They went through the records, apparently. Nothing he technically did, good or bad, like grifting and stealing from these women, is technically breaking the law. Good or bad. Good or bad, technically today, we don't have any strong evidence he is breaking the law. So we can say many things about him, but some allegations are just false, right? Does he have a long criminal past? Absolutely. Does he have a very suspicious record? Absolutely. But can you charge him today, right, for being an actual whatever, chomo, thief, whatever? No, we just don't have the evidence. Legally speaking, we just don't have enough to say that. But Marilyn is being, to put it mildly, in her videos, she's not very intelligent. She just makes accusations without qualification, right? So she's just saying stuff out of nowhere. So I guess he's going to be suing for the narrow scope of her getting a lot of things wrong. Okay, there I'd have to say he's correct. She just gets a lot of things wrong. She's not very careful. She's not a good researcher. She's not a lawyer. She's not a legal researcher. She's not a cult expert. She's just what is. She's just a grifter making moronic videos. And frankly, and I was going to put out another video here, kind of basically stealing my content. I was exposing and criticizing Brett there, like at least easily conservative about 8 to 9 months before she did. And you want to be super brutal about it, like I did this a year before Marilyn did. But here she is cashing out doing lazy videos, frankly, without any acknowledgement or thank yous from other people, including Casper, who did way better exposés than she did on the Brett issue. So here she is cashing out doing stupid stuff and not being very careful. So either way, I'm laughing at both sides. So Scoville's being an idiot. Marilyn's being an idiot. But it is a word to the wise. If you're going to do these kinds of videos, do these kinds of exercises, you want to be very careful. YouTube is not a blank slate. It is not a free paycheck to say whatever you please, because those things are potentially problematic and dangerous. So for instance, Aaron Smith-Levin, he is scummy. I think he's predatory and other things. But can I seriously charge Aaron with being a chomo? No. There is no strong evidence that Aaron Smith-Levin, who is very shaky and very problematic in many ways, is a chomo. So I'm not going to say that. Would I get money? Sure. I could put a bunch of dumb videos out there and say, you know what I think? You know what I think? You know what I think? I think Aaron the Chomo. And just cash out. I'd probably make a lot of money. Just keep putting in the title, Aaron Smith Level. Here's a Chomo. But then if anybody was stupid enough to ask, well, why are you saying this? Or what are you saying? Well, then I really don't need evidence. No, you do. You do. Because these things can be challenged in a court of law. And the court of law would ask you, wait, why are you saying these things? Why are you making these accusations? And saying, well, you know, Marilyn's doing it. And yeah, that's nice. You have to have some backing for what you're saying. So on the one hand, I don't like Scoville and I don't like Aaron. On the other hand, it's not just YouTube rules. It's just good rules in general. When you do these kinds of videos, you want to be very careful. I just did this whole thing with I Can Possible and the Saber Spark and that whole mess. And one of the reasons that became such a big controversy is she's just making all these credible accusations built on nothingness. I'm not going to go into details there, but there's some updates there. I will do a video on that. And that's just very alarming. If you're going to try to, quote, expose X or Y, you want to be at least a little bit careful, and Marilyn is not. So is this a serious threat? I don't know. I'm just here to try to be as neutral as you can with these very evil, deceptive, ugly figures. But for the record, it is true. No, it's not entirely true, but Scoville usually does not name people that he dislikes who have been critical of him. I don't think Marilyn is a good critic. I don't think she's a good researcher. But I do believe her somewhat, what she talks about with Scoville. But many times she is just going to go into flights of free-for-all moronic fantasy. And there we go. Now, if she thinks she can just do that, well, we're going to wait and see. But he does have the resources. I mean, his channel has like 26,000 some subscribers. He has made a little bit of money, right? I mean, ironically, we know that because he scammed all these women out of tens of thousands of dollars. He may have done it legally, but still a scam. So does he have the resources to hire a lawyer and shut her up? Yeah, maybe he does. Maybe he does. Now, are we going to lose anything if Marilyn is forced to retract statements or given an actual legal letter saying you have to shut up or be careful or you're going to have financial penalties? I'm just laughing at both sides. I don't think it's going to have a chilling effect. Like, I think it's very noticeable. He's not going after other people. I understand perhaps the reasons. I am a little puzzled why Knife Order, the Nazi, is not being named. I mean, I would think that's a more inviting target. But I guess in that position, frankly, there's nothing to gain. I mean, Marilyn has made a lot of easy money. Not a lot, but she's made some easy money saying stupid things. So in terms of actually getting some money back, yeah, it's a smart move. But I do think this is a little weird. And Marilyn's just, yucking it up, thinking she's the queen bee of everything. So if nothing else, this will probably force her to actually do some double checking, realizing, no, you can't just say whatever you please. You actually have to try to have some rational, fact-based approach to your nonsense. But this is early. I'm going to keep updates on this legal war. It is hilarious because he's a monster and she's a monster. So it's going to be a monster fest. But it's not even the good one like Godzilla versus Kong or the werewolf versus Dracula. It's more like really suspicious grifter number 1 versus suspicious grifter number 2. And I'm just caught in the middle. So just going to sit back, metaphorically. I'm not really into cigar stuff. Just light a cigar and just laugh at both sides as they keep hurtling down into the hellhole of insanity they've created for themselves. Thank you. Have a good day.